Today we're going to compute the slopes of four types of lines. We're going to look at a line with a positive slope. These are lines that move up and to the right. Then we're going to look at a line with a negative slope, and lines with a negative slope move downwards as you move from left to right. Then we're going to look at a horizontal line, and then finally we'll look at a vertical line. Every line you see in algebra will be one of these four types. First, let's review the definition of a slope. The slope measures the steepness of a line, and it's defined to be the rise over the run. Now, the slope is denoted by the letter m, the change in y divided by the change in x. And this is the change in y divided by the change of x between two different points. Another way we could describe this is the change in y is the difference in the y coordinates between 2 points. Here, this y2 is the y coordinate of point 2, y1 is the y coordinate of point 1, and the run, or the change in x, is x2 minus x1. And another way still that we could write the slope is the change in y divided by the change in x. In mathematics, you use the capital letter delta to stand for the difference between two numbers. And when you take the difference between two numbers, you're just subtracting one from the other. So for our first example, we're going to look at a line with a positive slope. Let's say this line goes through the point 2, 1, and it also goes through the point 4, 3. So we have 2 points, and 2 points is all you need to compute the slope. So let's get started. So the slope, m, is the rise over run. The change in the y's divided by the change in x's. And the way we do this is we just have to designate one of these points as point 1 and another one as point 2. And once you do that and you stick to it, you'll be perfectly fine. Let's call this point number 1, and we'll call this one point number 2. So now to compute the slope, we take the y coordinate of point 2, which is 3, and we subtract the y coordinate of point number 1, which is 1. And then for the run, or the change in x, we take the x coordinate of point 2, which is 4, and we subtract the x coordinate of point number 1, which is 2. So we simplify this, and that gives us 2 divided by 2, or simply 1. So the slope of this line is 1, which is positive, and that's good because the line goes upward as you move from left to right. Next, we're going to compute the slope of a line with negative slope. And this is the line we're going to work with. And let me just highlight 2 of the points on this line. Let's say this point on the left has coordinates -3, 2, and the point on the right over here has coordinates 4, -1. So here we have a line. We have 2 points on the line, and the slope should be negative. So if we don't get a negative number, we know we messed up somewhere. So let's do the calculation. So the slope is going to be the change in y over the change in x. I'm just going to rewrite this form of the formula for practice. So let's now do the calculation. First, we'll do the change in y. That is the difference between the two y coordinates. So we have 2, which is the y coordinate of the left point, minus the y coordinate of the second point, which is -1. Do be careful with the negative signs. So we have 2 minus -1. And we divide that by the difference in the x coordinates, which is -3 minus 4. So 2 minus -1 is +3, and -3 minus 4 is -7. So the slope of this line is 3 divided by -7. Now you can write this in several ways. You could say it's -3 over +7, or you could say it's just -3/7. It's not like you're putting the negative sign in the top or the bottom. Let's look at this first way of writing the slope, 3 over -7. What that means is if you pick a point on the line, then if you go up a total of 3 units, then you'll need to go to the left 7 to get to another point on the line. On the other hand, if we look at this way of writing the slope, then if we pick any point on the line, then if you go down 3, you have to go to the right 7 to get to another point on the line. But at the end of the day, these both say the same thing. It's just, are you going one direction or the other? Now let's look at the following horizontal line. Let's say the coordinates of this point are 5, -2. So I've already given you one point on the line, 5, -2. And since this is a horizontal line, any point that has the same y coordinate will be on the line. So if 5, -2 is on the line, then the point, say, 3, -2 is on the line. You could say 1, -2 is also on the line. 0, -2 is on the line. And you could continue on forever. All of these points are on the line. So we could just pick any two of these that we want in order to compute the slope. I'm going to go ahead and use these first 2 points to compute the slope. So once again, the slope is the rise over the run, which is the change in y's over the change in x's. So we're going to take -2 minus -2 divided by 5 minus 3. Now -2 minus -2 is the same thing as -2 plus 2, because when you subtract a negative, it turns into adding a positive. And 5 minus 3 is 2. So this gives us 0 divided by 2, which is 0. So the slope of any horizontal line is 0. And finally, let's take a look at a vertical line. And let's say this vertical line goes through the point 3, 4. Since I've already given you one point on the line and it's vertical, that means any point with an x-coordinate of 3 will also be on this line. So we have 3, 4. I've given you that point, but also 3, 1 would be on the line, or 3, 0, or 3, -27. Any point, as long as the x-coordinate is 3, will be on this line. And like before, let's just go ahead and use the first 2 points here to do the calculation. So the slope is the change in y over change in x, and the difference between the y's here is 4 minus 1. By the way, you could do 1 minus 4, you can do them in whatever order you want, you just have to be consistent with the order. So we're starting with the point on the left, we have to start that way with both the y coordinates and the x coordinates. So we have 4 minus 1 divided by 3 minus 3. That gives us 3 divided by 0. Now, you can't divide by 0 because it's undefined. There's no way to mathematically define division by 0. So we say the slope of a vertical line is undefined. And these are the 4 types of lines you'll encounter. Lines with a positive slope, a negative slope, a horizontal line which has slope 0, or a vertical line which has an undefined slope. Its slope is just simply not defined.